This is the Audi 944, the Porsche 944, the best-selling Porsche of its time. Today, I will show you why I think this is one of the best Porsches to own. After that, I will show you some of my favorite features, take it for a drive and give you some driving impressions, and then in the end, I will point out some of the things that you should look for if you're planning on buying one of these. In the late 1970s, Porsche found itself in a predicament with its aging rear-engine air-cooled 911 model. The solution, you ask? Will introduce a new lineup of front-engine water-cooled cars to run alongside it. This gave birth to the 928 and the 924. The 928 took the spotlight as the brand's flagship Grand Tourer, featuring an impressive V8 engine. On the other hand, the 924 was intended to replace the aging 914 and serve as Porsche's entry-level sports car. The initial strategy worked reasonably well with strong sales, particularly for the 924. However, die-hard Porsche enthusiasts voiced their dissatisfaction with the 924's perceived lack of power and prestige, stemming from its Audi-derived four-cylinder engine. These concerns echo the criticism faced by its predecessor, the Volkswagen-powered 914. To address these concerns, Porsche took a significant step forward and evolved the 924 into the 944 for the 1983 model year. With this transformation, the 944 will finally embody the essence of a true Porsche. It received a brand new 2.5-liter water-cooled inline four-cylinder engine, cleverly designed to mirror half of the 928's impressive V8 power plant. The Porsche 944 is a unique blend of timeless design and engaging driving dynamics. The moment you lay your eyes on the Porsche 944, you can't help but be captivated by its unmistakable 80s charm. The sleek and aerodynamic silhouette combined with the pop-up headlights exudes a sense of elegance and adventure. The iconic Porsche badge on the hood serves as a constant reminder of the heritage and engineering excellence that lies beneath the surface of this Porsche 944. Slipping into the cabin of the 944 is quite an event. The cockpit was built for those who live life in the fast lane. The ergonomically designed cabin wraps around you. The supportive seats provide excellent bolstering while driving on spirited drives. While the interior may not have all the modern gadgetry found in today's cars, it offers an honest and straightforward driving experience. Powering the 944 is a 2.5-liter, 2.7, or a 3-liter inline four mounted at the front, driving the rear wheels through a transaxle. The result is a beautifully balanced weight distribution that contributes to the 944 exceptional handling characteristics. Owning a Porsche 944 is like joining an exclusive club of enthusiasts who appreciate the unique charm this classic sports cars bring. From attending car meets events to connecting with fellow enthusiasts online, the 944 community is passionate and welcoming. The availability of aftermarket parts and dedicated specialists ensure that you can keep your 944 in top condition while customizing it to your taste. Now let's walk around the car while I'll take a look at the interior, show you some of my favorite features. Then we'll take it for a drive and give you some driving impressions. And then in the end, I will point out some of the things that you should look for if you're planning on buying one. And we're starting the favorite features right outside with the fender flares. These flares were added to allow for larger tires and a wider stance. And I think they look phenomenal. I love the look. They're both front and back. And it gives the Porsche this very muscular look. Absolutely love these. Next up are the pop-up headlights. These are just cool. I mean, initially these were a necessity. If you wanted a more aerodynamic design, you had to have something like this where the lights would hide, because technology didn't allow for headlights that would be shaped in this way. Nowadays, you can make them pretty much in any shape you want. So now these are becoming even more popular, more predominant. It's just a cool feature to see some light bulb come out of the body of the car and just pop up and shine at you. To operate the pop-up headlights is pretty simple. You just use this dial here and turn it clockwise 2 times. That gives you your headlights, and they obviously pop up. To retract them back, go back 2, and you're done. And my next feature is right in here, and it is the sunroof. There's a button here for this whole roof pretty much to pop up and let some air out. You press the button here, and it pops up as such, scavenging all that hot air out of the cabin to the outside. It's phenomenal. I really like it. And it adds a really cool look to the roof of the car. And while we're in here, might as well give you a tour of the interior. Here on this side, we have 2 buttons. That's for your power windows. Not very ergonomical, to be honest. Here you have your entertainment centers, a block punt cassette player, and here in the center console we have a list of cassettes that we can play to delight you as you travel in your journeys. Right here we have the controls for your side mirrors, your rear wiper, and climate controls are in here. We have cigarette lighter and a little glove box. Shifter right here feels nice and sturdy. Up here we have a little cabin light if needed. And right here we have the controls for your wipers, your blinkers, and your high beams. Here we have the ignition, which is on the proper side. This is where it needs to be, Porsche, okay? Forget about this left side crap. And in here we have a ashtray where you can put in your ash as you're smoking along your journeys, right? You can tell I'm not a smoker, right? On this side we have the emergency handbrake and controls for your seat. Now the steering wheel does not move at all. It's not telescopic, it's not adjustable, nothing. It stays there at all times. So depending on your size, it could be a little uncomfortable. But the seat itself, you can move it back and forth, up and down, front and back. So it gives you, plenty of adjustability. But again, the steering wheel does not adjust, which sometimes makes the driving position a little bit uncomfortable. Another one of my favorite features is right here, the gas filler cap. And the whole system, actually, look, the way that it operates is you open this door, the gas door, and then simply place this piece of fabric. I'm not sure exactly what it is, if it's leather or some kind of rubber compound, not entirely sure, maybe synthetic. But the way that this whole system works is you put this flap down, undo the gas cap, which it does have a lock if you want to lock it, and then place your gas nozzle in here, resting it onto this, and this also protects the paint from any gas spills. It's a beautiful piece of German ingenuity and engineering. I just love it. It's pretty curious. I've never ever seen anybody put a piece of fabric to protect the body or the chassis of a car. Pretty cool. And lastly, my last feature, I could go for hours on this car. There's a lot of quirkiness and pretty cool things that they've added just because of the time period. But look at this, the spoiler back here. It's actually some sort of foam. It's some sort of rubber. Look, it's flexible. I'm not sure why Porsche intended it to be this way, but it is. But the shape itself is pretty cool. You can see it wraps around the quarter here and it gives it extends out, sort of almost matching the rear bumper. It gives a pretty cool look, and I'm sure it's very aerodynamical as well. You can see the lip here to deflect the air up and provide downforce and stability. And now for my favorite part, let's go for a drive. Now driving the Porsche 944, very nimble and responsive car with a torquey 4-cylinder. Even with the AC turned on, the car drives as normal. You barely feel the difference of the compressor being engaged. Now, this is not a very powerful car. It's smooth, it's a plushy ride. The shifter feels, very firm and engaging. The power plant, it's not that powerful. I mean, we're talking about 143 horsepower out of this car, with a little bit higher, all the way up to 263 horsepower for the turbo engines throughout the years, or that's the maximum output. The suspension is very plush, but corners well. So I'm assuming there's some sort of progressive spring rate in this suspension system. I don't know for a fact. If any one of you know, please comment below and let me know. But that's what it feels like. It's very plush, very soft and smooth, but it'll corner very well. Very well balanced as well, and I think in part because of that transaxle sitting in the back, but it's got very good behavior. The sitting position is quite interesting. You sit really slouching back in these cars, which is great it's a nice driving position. Long term, however, I feel like that the bolstering on the bottom part of the seat is too tight, and I'm a skinny guy. I consider myself a skinny guy, and this feels tight. If I drive, maybe, let's say an hour, this starts to be a little constrictive. It just feels tight. One of the things that I'm most amazed about is just how much attention this car gets. There's been a lot of honking, people going like thumbs up and really liking this car. That took me by surprise, actually. I mean, it's a great looking car. I just didn't expect a 944 to be some sort of like a wow kind of factor kind of car. And now you're really pumped and excited to buy one of these. So allow me to highlight some of the things that you should look for if you're planning to buy one. I made a video to show you general things to look for when buying any car, like body shape, signs of wear, leaks, etc. The link to that video is included below. Use that as your starting point. But in addition, let's dig into things to look for this car specifically that could be a high-ticket item. Keep in mind that it's never a bad idea to bring along a car-savvy friend with you who is familiar with these cars to help you find things. If you find one that you have your heart set on, I would also recommend that you get a PPI, a pre-purchase inspection done by an experienced Porsche shop or the dealer itself. It'll be the best $200 you spend on the car. Now, given its age, reliability is a legitimate concern when considering a Porsche 944. However, with proper care and maintenance, these vehicles can still deliver years of driving pleasure. Routine servicing, including timing belt replacements and regular oil changes, is essential to keep the 944 running smoothly. It's also worth mentioning that the 944 robust build quality and engineering make it a relatively straightforward car to work on, which help in mitigating maintenance costs. So ensure you discuss with the current owner the list of items that we'll be reviewing in this video. Right, so let's jump right into it. Let's start the issues right up front in the engine bay. Let me open up the hood. And the first thing I want to point out is the timing belt failure. Now, this is an interference engine, which means if the timing belt breaks, your engine will be destroyed. So it is important to replace the timing belt as recommended. Usually the timing belt failure is due to a lack of replacement. The manufacturer recommends replacement between every 60 to 90,000 miles. Usually the signs of a failing timing belt include misfires, unusual noises around the timing belt area, or difficulty starting the vehicle. Make sure that you have this checked and understand the service intervals and the maintenance records for the timing belt before you buy one of these. Replacing the timing belt as of the making of this video, you could be looking somewhere around $1,500 to $2,500 depending what shop is doing the work and what parts are needed. Next, let's talk about the cooling system leaks. Now, this is usually due to worn out parts like hoses, radiators, etc. Now look under the car, let the car warm properly. Take a look at your coolant level here in your reservoir. As you can see, this is clear for you to be able to see the level of coolant. Look underneath, make sure that the car is not overheating. All these could be signs of a trouble cooling system that has coolant leaks. Another thing I want you to look for are oil leaks. As with the coolant leaks, get underneath, look for oil leaks, let the car rest after you drive it a while to see if it's developing any leaks underneath. As these cars age, they start to develop oil leaks due to failed or worn out gaskets. Look for signs of oil in the underbody covers or anywhere around the engine. Look for leaks around the rear main seal, the front, just to see if there are leaks, oil leaks coming from different areas of the engine. That could be an expensive repair depending where they're placed. And the last thing that I want to point out right around here is the power steering leaks. These cars are notorious for power steering leaks. Generally, either the rack or the pump need to be rebuilt or replaced. So at the same time that you're looking for leaks for oil or the coolant, make sure that you look for leaks coming from the power steering pump or the rack itself, as this could be an expensive or time-consuming ordeal. You can find a lot of these parts, they're easy to source, so you shouldn't have a problem, but just keep that in mind and deduct it from the price. Now the next thing I want to highlight includes electrical problems throughout the car. These cars are notorious for having electrical wiring issues due to loose connectors or just failure of different components. So make sure that you look around at all the terminals to make sure that they look okay and that you don't have any kind of malfunctions inside the cabin, such as your dash cluster malfunctioning or some of the things, the windows or the sunroof or anything inside the car not working properly. The next thing I want to talk about is the suspension, front and rear. All four corners of these cars, you should be checking out for bushing wear or failure of any suspension components. These issues are normal, but sometimes can be made worse by harsh driving conditions, track days, etc. So make sure that you look around for any worn out bushings during your test drive. Make sure that you hear for clunky noises or any play in the suspension. And this is where a professional comes in handy, where they can lift up the car and really inspect all these components for you. The next item I want to talk about is clutch issues. Replacing the clutch on a 944 can be quite an ordeal. When Porsche designed this car, they did two things that are not very user-friendly. One of them is that they placed the transmission in the back, called a transaxle. The engine sits up front and a bunch of parts in between. You can do the math on that one. The second thing is that they used a rubber insulator on the clutch itself instead of the traditional spring. Usual symptoms of a failing clutch are slippage. That's when you are driving and the engine revs higher than the vehicle accelerates. It could be a spongy clutch feel, or just noises as you engage, or not being able to engage your gear at all. And lastly, I want to go back here where the transaxle is located. If you have transaxle issues or failure, this can be quite an expensive replacement to either replace or rebuild the unit. So you want to make sure that each gear engages smoothly. It's okay if first gear takes a bit of a second to engage as the synchros wear out with age, but it should not take more than half a second or so. And just make sure that it operates good going forward, backwards, etc. If you have the automatic transmission equipped Porsche 944, you have failed in life. And that's it, folks. I hope you find this information helpful and informative. If you did, please give me a like, comment below, and share. It really helps the channel. So thank you, and see you in the next video.